Okay, we finished last time. We had taken our problem statement, created a flow chart, tested it with our practice data, and found that everything is working perfectly. So now we want to go ahead and code it. And how we code it is we copy everything from constants all the way down to the end of output. We don't bother with scope. We copy that and we paste that into script tags in HTML-Kit. So because it's going to take, it would take a 30-minute video in order for me to show you everything, I've decided to pre-type some of the code. So I started with the script tags, I pasted them in. After I pasted them in, I need to place in my var all the input and all the results of my calculations. So my input are these three things, and I simply copied them from input. So square feet, pine, local. And then the rest were results. Oh, I got square feet twice. All right, so I don't need to have that. What I did is then I went down to my output and I copied the rest. All right, and then when I go down to here, wood rate, install rate, total cost, those are the results of all our calculations. So I simply copied those, pasted them up here, and then strung them across that way. So yeah, it's kind of lopsided here, but it doesn't make a difference. I just want to make sure that instead of putting these all the way across and having to scroll back and forth, I just make them like this. So this is easy. Once I got to here, my constants, all I'm going to do is copy the var, Control C, and then paste it, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, and then semicolons at each end of these. That's easy. The prompts, again, they take time. So all I said is I have a place in memory called square feet. I want to assign to that place in memory was returned from my prompt. And then my prompt has two arguments. The first one is what question do I want to ask, which is that. And then what is my default value? So let's go back and take a look at our practice data. And you can see, let's do this one first since it's already set up. 100, no. So in here, I'm going to put 100. And then no, and then no. So when I test, I don't have to type anything in. It's already there. All right, so let's go back to our HTML kit. All right, and then I copied the rest of this and I pasted it down here. I haven't done anything to that except put some spaces in and make my life a little easier. And then down here, we're going to be using document rights for these output. And I put that in there to, again, start us off. All I did was do the first one, and then I copied each one of these, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, then copied this, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Very important because you tend to forget the semicolon and parenthesis at the end. So if you do that right away, you will have less problems. All right, so what we need to do for our decisions is what we're comparing has to be in parentheses. The other thing we learned from last time is that equal doesn't mean equal, it means assigned to. That's why we're using it here. In order to make so that we can know the difference between the two, they have equal. That means are these two the same? So equal means assigned to, equal means are they the same? We're going to do the same thing down here. So let's go ahead and put another equal sign in just to do it. If you put equal in your problem statement, we wouldn't take points off of that. Just try not to put too much JavaScript in the problem statement because again, that's for the user. In fact, I wouldn't even put equal. If you do it, then you're going to have to spend time with your client explaining equal and equal. All right, so now we're going to be using a start brace, and then we're going to comment start pine, and then a semicolon, and then a brace on the bottom. Again, that's shift 2 next to P, and then, whoops, stop pine. Then we have another start here. Start, no. We can either do start redwood or start not pine. So whichever way you want to do it, I'll do start redwood. That makes more sense to me. And then we're going to put a semicolon. and then a stop brace, stop redwood. Like I said, if you comment each of your braces, you'll be so much less likely to not forget them, which when you first start programming, you tend to forget them. All right, so we have a start brace. And this is going to be start local. And then we have a stop brace. And this is going to be stop local. And then here, this one is kind of hard. So I'm going to just do start, not local. And then a semicolon. Oops, so I got a semicolon up here. And then a stop brace and stop not local. Okay, a lot of extra typing, but when you come back and take a look at your code, this is going to make so much more sense to you. And down here, all we have to do is semicolon and semicolon, and then we have to do our document rights. And again, this is where I usually use my flowchart. So because I've already tested this, so why not? So everything to the left of the place in memory, Control C. And then to the left of the place in memory, Control V. Okay, and then when I do the next one, whoops, cancel that. And then everything to the left of the place in memory, Control C, and then Control V. I'm not going to worry about BR tags right now. All I'm just going to do is go through each one of these, see how much faster it is. So once you've done it once and you've tested it once, why reinvent the wheel? It's takes a little longer for input, so I don't bother with the input. And a lot of times I'm vague with my flowchart input because I'm not going to copy and paste it from there. So Control C, Control V, and then my that's my last one. So I'm going to copy, Control C, and then come down here and Control V. All right, so now I have everything done, except I want to put in two things. I want to put in a BR tag here. So in between the quote and the first character, then I'm going to copy it, Control C, and then paste it in between the quote and the first character, Control V, Control V, Control V. Now I'm ready to go ahead and start testing my program. So I'll just go ahead and preview. Remember, the first one we're going to do is 100 feet, no, no, and 10, 25, 35, 3500. That works. Perfect. And I'm going to move this over and test it again. Preview. Oh, I could have changed the default, but this is easy. Yes, yes, yes. And now it's 5, 20, 25, 2500. So you see it's working both ways. Notice I tested it and you don't see any decimal places. We're not going to take off any points if you do not have, if you're missing decimal points, because that looks fine. We may do it if you leave the dollar sign off because it's supposed to be for dollars. But if we want to have those, I simply go to the end of my wood rate. But I test it first before I add any complexity. And then I'll do dot to, fixed, open and close parenthesis. And inside that, I'll put the number 2. And then I'll copy dot to fixed, open and close parentheses, Control C. And I'll paste it to the end of each of my variables. We won't do it to square feet because I don't want that. Although I guess we could have, if they say square feet could have less than, but most of the time when you're doing decking, they're going to round it to the highest square foot. Probably will put a little fudge factor in there too. So let's preview it one last time. I forgot to change the default. Yes, yes. All right, so now it's working perfectly with 2 decimal places. So I know everything now is working perfectly, and I'm ready to go ahead and submit this. So I'm going to do the save button. It's going to go into my lessons again. So this is the dog walking one that we did. And there's my deck problem. So I'm going to change this to deck problem, and I'm going to leave the .htm. So it won't overwrite this because that's .txt. So we'll have the problem statement for dog walking and the code for dog walking, the problem statement for deck, and the code for deck. It doesn't show the EMF file because that's not a web document. And then we'll save it. Excellent. That is it for this. On to the next problem.